So, part two of the BTHS dress code controversy with your boy, the man, NJ to the city. So, to somewhat double down, if not to really more so, probably just smooth it out, to be just that much more transparent with everything I said in the first video. Let's get into it with the second video. Much love to Bartram Trail. Much love to all St. John's. Much love to all Duval County. Much love to every school, every county, let alone my entire state, which I represent as a whole. I hope that everybody does what they can to, once again, get more transparent, become more truthful, and just work with everything that's around them. Because every school has, as I think I've said before, it's chock full of talent. Just chock full of it. Every school is housing loads and loads and loads of talent. And, really from every angle, whether it's from the student body to the administration to the teachers, everybody just has to find those middle grounds to work together. Work together to conquer, to prosper, to evaluate, to innovate, and just become better, as they religiously say in sports, etc. So I hope that, Bartram, fixes / cleans up, this dress code controversy. Let alone, I think the whole county, cleans up this dress code controversy, let alone any other county, any other school that might be, dealing with this suffering, from this. Please clean it up so you don't have to make the news for this garbage, okay? Because I think that these issues are very common sense, which is what I said in the last video. These issues are so common sense if you work properly with everybody you're supposed to. You're not going to have these dress code controversies. The students are going to be able to go about their day just easy like a Sunday morning, just blessedly. Everyone's going to be able to live abundantly if you move with truth and transparency from the administration to the students of not only what's required of them, but vice versa. The administration needs to know what's required of the administration to effectively do their job so the students can do their job and everybody can just work together cohesively, can learn, can build, can grow, can thrive personally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, academically, you name it. Don't give these bogus PR stunts trying to protect numbers, trying to protect stats, trying to protect image, when trust me, what you need is truth and transparency. That's how you protect image or whatever else. Now, that's not to hugely shame anybody and so on, but that's just to say I've read the reviews, whether you've read them or not, I've read them, and I'm so sick and tired of knowing that so many schools are ran like prisons rather than ran like fun houses, dare I say, like Shaq's Fun House on that commercial for printers that he does, etc. I know that every school building can be a school home, and I know everybody inside of it can be a school family if people just work together, in the most cohesive way they can. And if you work together, the dress code issues will be solved swiftly, confidently, probably borderline just easily, because everybody gets it, loves each other, respects each other, acknowledges each other, and wants to do right by each other. And put all that into one big combination, you're not going to land on the news for stuff like a dress code controversy. You're just not. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of everything. A big part of it is nonetheless treat others the way you'd want to be treated. But then the other part is just make sure every day you're moving as cleanly and cohesively as you can with your students, with your faculty and staff, so this stuff just doesn't happen, let alone with the parents of the students. Make sure you are working cohesively with them so everybody gets it and understands what's going on from the jump, so we don't end up on the news for this stuff. We don't need to end up on the news for this stuff. We just don't. Because I'll tell you again, what is the point in being number one in the state for education, St. John's, if we still end up on the news for stupid stuff like this? God forbid I bring up my alma mater, Nice High School, when it comes to our bathroom policies over the last few years. God, Jesus, what is the point? So yeah, you're graduating a bunch of kids, but you're also negatively indoctrinating them at the same time. Or if that doesn't fit the puzzle, yeah, you're graduating a bunch of kids, but at the same time, you're putting them through hell at the same time. Kids don't feel comfortable. Kids are not learning what they really need to learn because they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel safe, they don't feel protected, they don't feel acknowledged, they don't feel cared about, you know? So yeah, you're pushing numbers through the roof, you're driving numbers across the finish line. But kids are still not getting all which they need to be successful beyond your school walls because you're too worried about dress code. Now, that's not to say that dress code is not important. Dress code is important. You don't need to be looking like a loose, snob, slob, whatever the word is you want to, use there. You don't. But there's some things that, especially at the eyes, I've done my research, you can let slide. If it's not hurting anybody, you can let slide. Other things, you cannot. And so on. I mean, God forbid, I say, couldn't it just been, because I read the report, instead of making the young lady unzip her jacket, couldn't it just been easier to just send her to the bathroom and put on something else? Couldn't it just been easier to just, literally just easier to just do that? Dare I say, God first, if she cooperates with that, isn't it just easier to do that rather than forcing her to unzip a freaking jacket? Come on, people. You're making people feel unnecessarily uncomfortable. And I mean, again, God bless, all love to St. John's. But that's the number one thing that I cannot stand about us. Our county, our school system. How in God's holy name are we number one in our state for education? But at the same time, when you look at the reviews and you talk to the students, let alone depending on which faculty and staff you're talking to, vice versa, but definitely the students, in this case, and they're telling you, I go to school in a prison. They're telling you, and vice versa. And vice versa, some of the faculty and staff are telling you vice versa. The administration or whoever is over them is unfair, is a negative dictator, and yada, yada, yada. Like, what is the point in driving education numbers for everybody to feel lost, ostracized, suicidal, and treated unfairly? St. John, step your game up. I love representing you, but you make me embarrassed to represent you as the ambassador, as your ambassador, when you do stuff like this. When we continue to keep on ending up on the news for stuff like this. And again, anybody who does not know my reputation as the ambassador, you really can just look up and down this channel, let alone on my social media. And anybody who ever went to school with me who knows what I do to represent St. John's, and what I do to represent our community at large, and what I do to represent the students and make sure everybody's on the right track in every school that I go to. And so on, if you're not familiar with my reputation as being the ambassador. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I know that there's more middle ground that we can find if we just work towards it. And the problem is we're not working towards it. We're working towards a complete negative dictatorship, which is why so many students are saying no, no, no. And they're either going to another school, or they're doing whatever, or homeschool, or they're doing whatever they're doing, let alone writing negative reviews about their experience because you're putting them through a negative experience. And I think that, God willing, I think it is as simple as what I just said about, wouldn't it just been as simple as just to give the young lady another shirt to wear and tell her to go change in the bathroom? Wouldn't that have been easier, safer, cleaner, better? Wouldn't that have prevented you from ending up on the news for a dress code controversy? Yeah. Hey, here's a shirt. Put it on. Simple as that. Problem solved. Rather than interrupting, as they say, education for it. And again, nobody has to agree, but I think it's more so common sense to understand. Some things, all glory. Some things we can very much stop in its tracks, as we follow its footsteps, dare I say, if that makes sense. But we're just doing a piss poor job at it, and we wonder why our students feel imprisoned. Then they don't feel safe, and they just feel like, get me out of here, I want to throw up. This place makes me suicidal. So, of course, I'm still going to keep representing and, going to, every school and doing what I can to get involved and help out and donate, and let the students know that you know, I'm here for them, and they have a voice with me and share with them my platform, and and they are heard. Better yet, more than anything, they are heard, letting them know that they are heard. But other than that, I want anybody from Bartram, let alone any school out there, to understand this. It's just not hard it's just not hard to treat others the way you want to be treated, and to operate by more fair policies. Respect godly boundaries, and just own it. Own it once you know how to run it. Dare I say? It's just not that hard. And it keeps seeing St. John's drive numbers with education, but still violate people's privacy standards on things, or what pretty much make people feel uncomfortable over stuff like dress code, and then create a bathroom crisis, and so on, with only opening one bathroom because of shenanigans caused by other students who just don't care about anybody else but themselves. The point there is that we've seen it. We are representing ourselves great with being, great with, they're actually depending who you talk to. Great with education, but we seem to be representing ourselves piss poor when it comes to, I want to say civil liberties. Piss poor when it comes to, I want to say human rights, but I don't think that fits to the equation. I think you kind of understand, privacy standards, personal, character and responsibility. I think you kind of understand. Let alone with safety, cleanliness, boundaries, personal respect. We just keep representing ourselves poorly when it comes to that. Just because you rank #1 in education don't mean you get to disrespect everybody who's not your favorite, which you shouldn't even have favorites, but you get the point. And that's a big part of what I have with our county, and God bless our county, let alone God bless even Duval, vice versa, and other surrounding counties I can name, but we just got to get better at respecting and loving thy neighbors, thyself, and handling these issues with common sense in-house, so they don't have to make the news and embarrass everybody. Because that's exactly what this dress code controversy has done, vice versa with Nice's bathroom policies years ago. That's exactly what it's doing. It is literally embarrassing the school. You are driving education numbers, yay, but you're embarrassing yourself by stripping away students' rights, their privileges, their civil liberties, their respect, their boundaries. You're violating all that for education numbers, and that's not right. That's not right. What is the point? Yeah, I graduated with my diploma, but yeah, I never want to come back to your school ever again because you made me feel uncomfortable, or whatever the case could be, and that, let alone you destroyed my life. How about that? And I've heard that because I have routinely represented Nice High School, let alone our entire county, in just greatness for years. I've done that. And yeah, I keep hearing horror stories about no wonder why when kids graduate from us, they never want to come back at times, because they feel like, once again, we drove them through hell. We did not give them a voice. We tried to stifle, their voice. We took away, what makes them unique, and tried to make them fit into a forced box, and so on. And it's not right. It's not fair. It's very ugly and negatively nasty. If you were to personally ask me, no one has to agree with me. But I think everybody understands enough of what I'm saying. I love St. John's, I love Duval, I love other surrounding counties, but I want anybody who listens to this to understand. We don't have to keep ending up on the news for stupid stuff like this. Handle it in-house. Handle it with the parents. Handle it constructively and most appropriately with your students. Have truth and transparency with your students and with the parents. Go through the right training. Go through the right process. Go through the right vices. Go through the right whatever else I can name there to make this, seem, more pleasurable to you. We don't need to keep ending up on the news for stupid stuff like this. And I've said it, and I mean it when I tell you, it's great to know we're graduating the most students, and we rank wherever else we're at, and we rank high wherever else we rank. But it's embarrassing to know that it's coming at a sacrifice, it's coming at a cost, that we end up on the news for stupid stuff like this, for stripping away people's personal rights, their freedoms, their liberties, their privileges, let alone godly, what makes them unique, and so on and so on.